The 2 Cent Report!
Good hello to all the people who exist for some reason in this world.
And welcome.
Hello, Tristan.
Hello.
So this is, I believe, the 2 Cent Report, the Poverty Cast, the Acquisitions Cast. I am Justin, aka LC Lupus, and I am joined as always by
Tristan.
this other person. Yes, that's if we want.
Yeah,
to call
if you want to call me that. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
yes.
Don't really
Yes.
care.
I would like you to call me that. Yes. Call me 1 Cent Tristan. Right here. Speaking to you directly from Cape Town, South Africa. 2 hours fresh after my COVID shot. So let's hope I don't die.
Nice. If you do, then this will be maybe the final time we speak. So.
Oh no! You're gonna cut my
You're gonna
cut my audio that I've done for these past episodes and splice me in as like a robot host. I will continue hosting this. I've said enough words for you to cut that up.
I have to do 2 voices. There'll be my voice, and then he'll do a different voice like this. So I'm talking to myself the whole time. Should work. It'll work. Also, we have very, very sad news. One of our names does not actually apply for this episode.
We've got no acquisitions.
There are no acquisitions.
I thought so. I fucking thought so.
There were some acquisitions, like small ones, but I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, but a $2 million acquisition isn't an acquisition. That's a tiny little thing.
So the definition of an acquisition is somebody purchased something, correct? Well, then we're not off. We still have an acquisition to announce.
True. Well, there were acquisitions, but...
I mean, I only know of one.
What's one?
Recently, I myself made an acquisition. An investment into my future.
Okay.
Because, I do art stuff for people that don't know. And I've been working on AMD graphics card. And the drivers, not the driver software in particular, but the Radeon app is very finicky with my software. Sometimes it crashes, like it crashes Blender a lot. I can switch off hotkeys for the software, and yet when I start my computer up and I try to use the hotkeys in app, it will take a picture, for instance. It will save an instance and I don't actually know why, because I switched off the settings and then blah blah blah. But so I decided to move back to NVIDIA, starting with a fresh new RTX 3060 card. So that's my acquisition.
Well, that's nice. That's nice.
Although I don't own any games that require such power, nor do I have any games that support ray tracing at the moment. But, investment into the future.
Yeah, well, I suppose the only acquisitions I made, I bought some food.
I bought bread today. 2 loaves.
I also always buy 2 loaves at once. But anyway, this is a very pointless conversation.
It's got to fill that time.
So, shall we get straight into it? Well, the first thing actually is more for me, I'm afraid, because, it's not very often that I get to rant about something. So, did you ever play Alan Wake?
Nope.
Good. Okay, so... So, Alan Wake is getting a remaster, and for some reason people are excited. Now, here's the thing.
It's like 2021 is a remaster of 2020.
Alan Wake, I fucking hate Alan Wake so much. Alan Wake is one of those games. You know Alan Wake. Do you know the game at all?
Not at all.
Like, have you heard of it
I've
before?
heard the
Not
name.
at all. Okay, so basically you are a writer, character, and it's like a horror story inspired by things like Twin Peaks and, of course, Stephen King. And the main way that you fight, it's like, it sounds interesting on paper, but it's actually extremely fucking boring.
With words.
Is that you fight with light. So you have to shine light on the enemies to basically get rid of their like shield so that you can damage them.
Like the bugs from Metro.
Yes, but this was done before that. So Alan Wake's from like 2009, I think. Now the thing that I hate about it is that it thinks it's really fucking clever, and, and it just fucking grinds my gears. I'm like, and it's also, I remember it was the first time Nina came into the room and I was playing it, and I was just like, I fucking hate this game. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I bet as I walk over this point, I'm going to be attacked by creatures, and it's going to make it seem as if it's like a jump scare. I walk past the point, I get attacked by creatures. I'm like, it is literally the most fucking predictable, like how its arenas are laid out. But it's trying to think it's fancy, and oh no, it's about a writer.
Well.
And they have these.
No, I was gonna say, well, games that I normally find which make themselves look smarter than what they are, or basically any game that comes out of Quantic Dream. You know, like your Heavy Rain, Detroit, like
yes,
super story oriented, cool, but like, yes,
pretentious.
That's the word.
And the thing is, they the next game that this company made, they made that game Quantum Break, where it was like a combination of like a series and a game. So like you play part of the game and then you have to watch a 30-minute episode of a series.
Was Quantum Break like a movie? No, it was a video game, just a video game.
Yeah, no, it's a game, but in the game you watch a series with like actual actors and everything. So it's a very weird thing, but they're very pretentious. They're most famous for making Max Payne back in the day, the first two games.
The one where there was a wall,
which I also,
a hole in the wall, and you still had to go through the door.
I still hate Max. I've tried to enjoy Max Payne, and I hate.
I actually enjoyed the first one. When it first came out, my uncle got it, so went. It was those days where if someone got it, you went over to their house to watch them play it. And I went there and he gave me let me have a go, and I loved it. Obviously, like first time experiencing bullet time, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then I played the second one, and I was like, oh, it's the same.
No, the only good one is the third one, which was made by Rockstar. That game is actually
Rockstar
great.
Fanboy.
Less than I used to be, but yeah, I suppose. But no, Alan Wake also, it thinks it's really clever, and it has references to like horror movies and horror books and stuff, but they are so fucking on the nose. Like the famous scene where Jack Torrance comes through the door with the axe and the Shining. Yes. And literally they have like that exact scene, like copying the same things, and you're like, now if it was a more competently made game, they would just move on and be like, oh, it's a reference. But they have to be like, literally the very first words spoken in the entire game is the name Stephen King. He's like, Stephen King said. So every single time you're just like, oh, this happens. And they have to kind of, it's almost like they're going, see what we did?
Look. What
we did. Where is
we
subtle?
We did a thing. Come on, guys, take a look at us. We did a thing. Yes.
So yeah, I don't like Alan Wake. I find it boring, and it's pretentious, and it's crap, and I hate it. And I have I've thought to myself for like, ever since I played it, I was like, I would like to write something about this, about how Alan Wake is a perfect example of how to do monsters badly.
I mean, okay, I get it. I mean, but there's also, I also have a bit of a game that I played recently that I was just like, what? But yeah, Falls. I understand those where those times are when you need to hop onto Steam and join the Steam comments, because Steam comments are also a fucking riot. I mean, there is so much going on there. I mean, like there's when you really get into a game and you find like the game disappointing or something, hop on the Steam comments, filter out all the good comments that are people just looking for praise, and just go to the bad comments. Those guys are amazing.
Yeah, because also the thing with Alan Wake is that Alan Wake got like critical acclaim, So I had been excited to play it, and then I play it, and I'm like, oh my god, these people have no sense of taste.
Well, I mean, like you said, when did you play it for the first time?
2017 or something.
I'm just taking a look here. Alan Wake. When did the first
2009.
Exactly. You see, you've already been overexposed,
No.
so now you're just being judgmental.
No, you know what? I played Half-Life 2 for the first time in like 2014, and that game was fucking great, and I'm playing it again now. So, I like old games.
Yeah, but the
That
thing
game
is,
is just shit.
Alan Wake is a pop culture game. You know, it makes references to everything.
Game.
It's a pop culture game, and it was a pop culture game for back then, and now they're remaking it to, squeeze the nostalgia out of people's wallets. And that's cool. Maybe it comes better. Maybe it doesn't.
No, I think this one they're just doing a remaster. It's not a remake, I don't think.
Remasters. So. Oh my god. Let's just... we got this product. Let's just sell it back to them. Like, the motivation for remasters is allowing people to play classics that they obviously missed or couldn't play due to visual barriers or whatever. I get that.
Well, they just never got around to it. You know, like with me and Mass Effect. I just never got around to it.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I still say, if you haven't played Mass Effect, play the Legendary Edition instead. If you have played Mass Effect, don't bother with the Legendary Edition. Yes, there are some changes. Yes, there are some things that happen differently. But you know what? Mods do the exact same thing.
But you know what? What is... yes, this remaster, I don't give a shit. However, the next thing is like something that we probably both kind of would be excited about the prospect of. They're making a full remake of KOTOR.
One.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the people. It's Asper. They're really good. They do like a lot of ports and remasters and remakes.
But this is from that golden era of BioWare. So I think anybody can do a little bit better than the current state of BioWare. Yes. Yeah. Very, very exciting. After I play a lot of Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I loved Fallen Order. So if they're able to bring some of that spice into KOTOR again and get it, because the thing is, the story is epic. It's the game mechanics are very I would say they work very well with what the type of RPG it is, but the technology for it, the technology used for it is dated, and I think that throws up the biggest wall for anybody wanting to get into it. So I think remastering a good game and then remastering it with the touch that EA is currently producing, especially considering Disney and EA's agreement, and if EA does anything EA-ish, Disney will slap them on the wrist. So I'm actually genuinely looking forward to that.
Well, actually, what's you don't really need to worry so much about. You don't actually need to worry so much about like EA and stuff, because this is first going to be. It's going to first be a PS5 exclusive, and then it's going to port over to other systems. So I don't think EA is involved in this.
Okay, well, I don't mind that. I mean, I have to wait longer for it, but it's par for the course. I'm still very excited for it. I think they cannot release it just on PS5. It has to travel across, but it's going to be awesome. Like I'm looking at this because I love the game. I tried replaying it recently, and as fun as it is, and I'm reliving the moment, I did find the gameplay a bit boring. Considering
it's not exactly the most entertaining gameplay, but I also replayed it not that long ago. When did I play it? It was like last year or something. It wasn't that long, a couple of months back. Still loved it. I mean, it's dated, but I played it about a year ago, but it's still fucking great.
No, I'm
Fantastic game.
Like, I still believe like remakes and remasters, right? I get it. You want to make a shoe-in. You want to make sure that that if you remake it, you put the effort in, people will buy it. I still am on the side of why not remaster and remake games that flop but had good aspects to it. I'm not saying let's remake Daikatana. I'm saying let's remake a game that had a possibility of being good, but wasn't like this. Also, that other one, Star Wars Empire at War, right? I love that game. I love it a lot. But I've said this before, it doesn't run well because the game wasn't built to handle frame rates that computers can put out now. So it still runs on 4 gigabytes of memory. So it's when you get to a area where a lot is happening on the map, it chugs. So like a game like that, if they remaster it, I can't wait. A game that fell flat, maybe they can remaster. But like I said, you're not gonna get a Daikatan, you're not gonna get an ET remastered. But maybe like a game that had a lot of hype fell short because of not bad management, but because it was ahead of its time. Where's my where's my snake oil salesman? Where's my black and white 3? I want a black and white. Oh wait, but there is a black and white sort of game coming out. It's in Latin. It's got a Latin name. I'm pretty sure the 3 people that actually listen to this probably don't know it either. Let me just look here. I know it's got a Fate Diem. That's the new game that I'm looking forward to. It's also based about you are a god and you kind of handle things around this realm, and it's an island. But where's my snake oil salesman? Where is he? Where's my black and white 3? I know Lionhead doesn't exist anymore thanks to EA, or thanks to the fact that they decided to remake fucking Fable instead of black and white. But a man can hope, a man can dream.
Always, we can try. But yeah, the I don't know if you ever played this because it's the next thing on here is. Did you ever play Star Trek Elite Force?
I didn't play any of the Star Trek games. Not because I don't find Star Trek particularly interesting, but because I was never in a position to ever get to one of those games.
Yeah. No, I was just given one as a gift. I didn't know Star Trek at all. Star Trek Elite Force is an amazing first-person shooter. Like, it is fucking fantastic, and it just disappeared. Like, it's not on Steam. It's one of those games that just faded away, and it's now back on GOG.
Good old GOG.
And I'm like, all right, cool. I need to get Elite Force because I also need to know if that game is actually as good as I remember it being. It's a fucking good game.
Because the thing is, I know nothing about Star Trek. I really do not know anything. I mean, I know 3 actors' names. There's Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner, and the Asian guy. I'm gonna get. There
George
we go.
Takei.
It was at the back of my mouth. No, he's fucking his voice has been seen throughout a lot of games recently.
Oh fuck yes! That voice is perfect. Like that would be a great podcast voice. Imagine. Next up, we're going to be speaking about.
No, you can't. You can't do it. He's got a very unique voice.
It's very specific.
But there we go. That's all the people I know, and I don't even.
Well, you do know one other guy, but now my name is blanking because maybe they're extremely famous actor. Why don't I know your name? Patrick Stewart.
Okay,
Patrick Stewart.
yes, that's true. I mean, for some reason, my mind went to Galaxy Quest, and I was like, nope, they went in that.
Yeah, Tim Allen.
Oh my word! Alan
God!
Rickman,
Imagine
Tim
actually
Allen.
having Alan, but imagine actually that character, Alan Rickman's character in Star Trek. He's just like irritated with life, and he's like, oh, yes, whatever. Shoot the ship. I don't care. I used to be a real actor.
Is this Tim Allen's thoughts on the matter or his character? Touchy subject.
I think, yeah. I don't know. Either way, it would be fun.
But okay, so a game has come back from the grave, basically.
A game has come back from the grave. Yeah, every now and then this happens with GOG. Like a game that you're like, oh god, I forgot that thing existed, and then it just comes back, and you're like, fuck, that's actually great. I like it when random old ass shit comes back. So I actually want to get that game because, yeah, that is like one of the because we all have this, especially the people from like say our generation, where there was some like random ass bargain bin game that we had that is like foundational to our gaming life, and no one else has ever fucking heard of it.
Like for me, one of those games was 13.
Yeah, I know. I never played 13, but I know 13. I always saw the cover and I wanted to because of the graphics.
I mean, my older brother got it, and I played it, and I was like, oh. And obviously, that's also not getting a remake, so we're looking at that as well.
Yeah, except that the remake, I believe that they were like, yeah, they're switching to realistic graphics. Which I'm just like, why would you do that?
I don't know if it's realistic graphics. I think it's like a better cel shaded, a better detailed
is it
cel shade, but it's not like what was that movie called with Keanu Reeves and Robert Downey Jr. No. It's Scanners. I think it's called.
Oh, I haven't seen Scanners.
I think it's called Scanners. No, it's not called Scanners. It's something like that. Fuck it, I can't remember. But yes, it's not like that cel shaded. It's just like a more cartoony. Like it's got almost like a cleaner Borderlands vibe. Where there's detail,
okay.
It's still cel shaded, but it's more detailed. There's more color in it. It's not just flat cel shading. It still looks like someone brought to life cartoony concept art.
I know when I just remember when I heard about it, they said that they were switching to realistic graphics, and I was like,
kind of like I don't know if anybody's gonna know this. Kind of like if Patrick Brown, the very famous artist, if his art came to life, that's the kind of style that they're going for. If you don't know Patrick Brown, you definitely need to go look up some of his work. He's flippin' amazing artist. I did a study on him while in college, so definitely just check out some, like, even games that you might like. Just check out some of his pieces. They're always dynamic, capturing that one specific moment or a really good time in it.
I just looked him up now, and I know these. I recognize him.
Good artist.
Yeah, it's really good.
Very good. I love his his GTA 5 and his Guardians of the Galaxy stuff.
Yes, I remember his GTA 5 one. No, because these were big. I remember back in quite a while back. I got them in NAG CDs.
The man's good. That's all I can say. The man is
He
good.
is.
Anyway.
Anyway, so the next thing is quite funny because I know you're quite interested in this game. Although I don't know if you still are, but Star Citizen.
Yes. Obviously I know Star Citizen.
Okay. So, no, you know it, but are you excited about it?
I'm super excited about it. And I've gotten through stages. I was excited about it. Then while waiting, I wanted to play any sci-fi game I could get my hands on. I played 4 minutes of Elite Dangerous after it became free on Epic, and I was like, this game is too complicated. Then I went back to Freelancer, and I played Freelancer again. Then I got psyched up for it again, and I wanted to do more space exploration like they showed. So I got into Empyrean and No Man's Sky, and I got bored of it, so I went back to freelancer. And every single time Star Citizen comes up, I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait. And then I trail off. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, if this game doesn't come out soon, I'm gonna remake freelancer.
Well, I don't know if you know anything about the way that it's that they like to sell things that don't exist. The Star Citizen devs, they sell spaceships that you can get in the game.
I also know from my experience, maybe they've changed it, but in order to play the game, you actually have to buy your version of the game. The game is free, but you have to buy a ship with real world money to enter the game. That's what you pay for. You pay for the ship. The game is technically free, from last I checked, but you have to buy your ship in order to play the game. And that's...
Well, a UK regulator, like advertising regulator, came out and they were like, Star Citizen, be careful with what you're doing, because this can cause problems if you selling shit that doesn't exist. So maybe a little bit scary for them. You think you can get away with things forever, and then if the game never materializes, those people paid for nothing. So, but
like pre-order, right?
And some of those, in a sense, but people like buying ships that don't exist yet, like, and the ships can be fucking expensive, like thousands of dollars.
So like pre-orders, right?
Which
I'm gonna stick with that, because you're paying for something that technically is on a promise, like most things.
Yeah,
and I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's the game has a release, and they're releasing content to kind of, I don't know. I think Star Citizen is going to be either one of the greatest sci-fi games released, or the biggest shadow operation. They're going to be like, okay, release date is tomorrow. Everybody is online, and all of a sudden the site is unavailable. It's gonna be they're gonna use all the money they've accumulated to wipe the record, and be like, what game? What game were you talking about? I mean, what's it called? The something space project. That's the person behind it, the people behind it. I think it's like Robinson Space Project.
Yeah, I know it's the guy, Robert Space
Industries. There we go. Yeah, so that's just going to disappear, and you're going to hear nothing. It's going to be gone. So maybe.
Well, maybe it's one of those things where, like, the founder, he's like, one day he just disappears and he winds up in, like, the Philippines or something. Outside of jurisdiction, and he's just like,
interesting.
I have all
interesting
the money.
Little bit of information here. The engine that they're using for Star Citizen is the Amazon Lumberyard. Because, we're Amazon, and, we have to think of something constructive or creative to call it, so we're going to call it the main thing that's devastating the Amazon. Well done, Amazon. Well done, guys. Nothing like that. Well done. But yeah...
It would be like calling their streaming service Amazon Fire.
It's Amazon Lumberyard. Oh my god, that is terrible naming. The fucking marketing team needs to be shot. But what I can say about Star Citizen is that when you see content from Star Citizen, it's like the game is already launched. I don't know if you've ever looked at content for it, but it's almost like whenever you look at content, it's like, shit, is this game out already? Nope.
Yeah, it has been like that. You sort of like, because I think you can play it in a sense, but it's sort of not done,
In perpetual alpha.
It's forever and ever. But anyway, that's
good for the UK.
The next thing, which is quite interesting, so China likes implementing a lot of
wait.
restrictive.
I think I know this one. Carry on.
Yeah. So they implemented they like implementing a lot of restrictive things that could potentially cause problems, and they've done this in the past, but they've now done a hardcore sweeping restriction on games where children can only play games 3 hours a week.
Yes, I've heard about this.
Now the thing is that on its own is I mean, there's not really much to say. That's just what they did. You're not going to change their mind. They're China. They're not going to do anything.
It makes sense. I mean, how are they going to keep up production of Nike shoes if the kids are playing games all the time? The fuck.
However, here's the thing that you immediately go, okay, well that's whatever. However, there are companies like Tencent and NetEase that have a lot of money riding in gaming, and their stock price plummeted.
Are they going to try and lobby China, the Chinese government, to appeal this?
Have to see, but the amount that they lost is fucking staggering. It's the equivalent of 8 Bethesdas.
I mean, like, it's kind of funny, for me, kind of, because I saw memes about this. I've seen memes about Blizzard acting betrayed. You know, I defended you in that whole Hong Kong incident, and then, you know, Blizzard, you know, Overwatch, StarCraft, fucking, what's the other one, Hearthstone. Yeah, I mean, they're losing a lot of money out of this.
It's basically the companies together have lost $60 billion, which is quite a bit of money.
I'm no businessman, but I will say this. Stop backing China. Because political-wise,
it's not the greatest idea.
They're just going to fuck you over some way. 3 hours. Yeah. I mean, like, it's not going to stop sales, but it is going to stop live service. You know, it is going to hinder live service. Jeez, China.
But yeah, it's pretty fucking
what's
hectic.
What's their justification for this?
The usual justifications are things like you know, it's to video games are bad for this or that. It could be, like, I remember a while back when they restricted it the first time, it was because of it's pronounced myopia. It can fuck with your eyesight. Video games can cause you to have bad eyesight, which, yes, is true. Looking at any kind of screen for a long enough period can fuck with your eyes. But yeah, they're basically like, I know it's not good for kids. And unlike other countries, China can decide things like this and just be like, yeah, cool, not allowed to do it anymore.
Communist China.
And that's fuck all you can say. So.
No, it's communist China.
Yeah. What they decide, it goes, and there's nothing you're going to do about it.
It does have its perks. The whole limiting the hours. I mean, service will be a lot more freer. Yeah, but at the same time, that's a massive hit. Like, looking at it from, like, Tencent's perspective, that's a massive hit. That is crippling, especially because I think at the beginning of this year they were on our radar all the time with acquisitions. So now, nah.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, technically, Tencent is the biggest game company. I don't know if they still are after this fall, but they were the biggest game company. But they don't make anything themselves; they just own a bunch of other people. But yeah. But anyway, that's China. Just a little bit of interesting international news.
A little bit of politics there.
This is just a small thing, which is good for especially indies, is that now Apple, during this whole Epic versus Apple court case thing, Apple has decided that they will now allow devs to have other payment options other than having to go through the App Store.
Oh, okay. So they so you can download the game, and then in-game purchases can be made through a third-party service.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So it basically, I think, because one of the big things is that Apple takes quite a substantial chunk of your revenue as a dev. So I think this just allows you to have more options for the service, which is good. That's a good thing. At least something good came out of the Epic versus Apple thing.
Yeah.
Because most of it was just hilarious information, like how much money Epic was spending on those exclusives.
I mean, Epic is still doing the free games, doing two free games now at a time, and it's like, okay, how goes it? How's that Fortnite money?
As a matter of fact, the game that's currently free is really good. I've now forgotten what it is, but I'm opening up Epic. Let's see if it opens quickly, because Epic is fucking slow. In the meantime, the next thing, which is just an interesting little extra bit, Gearbox is now, they're opening up a new studio in Montreal, which is going to basically help with Borderlands and other franchises that they have. So they're sort of
Gearbox acquired
expanding.
by again?
Fuck, who was Gearbox acquired
I want
by?
to say Microsoft, but I know it's not Microsoft. But
yeah, we literally reported.
yeah, I know, right? You are terrible. But okay, cool. I mean, I'm glad Gearbox is still around. Gearbox, ups and downs with Gearbox. I mean, like I said, I'm still a fan of Colonial Marines, and more to say on that at the end, I guess.
By the way, it was by the Embracer Group, and they basically own THQ Nordic, Saber Interactive, Koch Media, Deep Silver. So yeah, they're just one of those conglomerates. You've never heard of them, but they own a lot of shit.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just a little expansion that's going on. And another little new studio is the guy who's in charge of the PUBG. He's going to start his own studio, although the PUBG studio was his own studio. So I guess he's starting his own studio.
Okay. Oh, well,
But
good
yeah,
for him. Congratulations. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. If you have the
he
money,
can do his thing. Yeah, so that's what he's doing. And then, so those are just kind of quick.
It actually makes
stories.
sense because PUBG is obviously it's going to be a game ongoing, and you don't want to rip any staff that's been working on it away from it to venture onto new projects, because that company that's PUBG. PUBG is that company. So anybody that works in that company is going to be working on it. Now you don't want PUBG and then PUBG releases another game. So it's smart to start a new studio and get them to release other games. It's what I would have done as well. No, good on him, actually. Good on him.
I do love how you get these things where it'll be called like the PUBG company. Like, do you know that the the studio that makes Sonic is called Sonic Team? And you're just like, I wonder what they make.
Bad games. Okay, moving on.
They made They made like 3 good games in the 90s,
which will all just copy paste the fucking same game.
I know. So the thing is, the second game is the best one. Just some refinements on the first one. That's really all you need to play. Just play Sonic 2 and you'll be happy.
I couldn't get into Sonic because I missed it when it was in the arcades.
Yeah.
And I missed it when consoles started coming out. So I figured, you know what? I've got this thing on Steam. There's like Sega games, like an arcade. Like the application is basically a Sega arcade.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I played it. Yes. I think the gameplay, because I wasn't around when it first came out. Well, I wasn't around, but I didn't play when it first came out. The gameplay doesn't impress me.
Yeah, I've never been particularly big on Sonic games either. I enjoy the second game, but I'm like, I've never finished it. I just have played the first few levels multiple times
and
over the years.
And you get like snippets of what's happening in the Sonic verse.
You basically play for 30 minutes and then you're like, that was fun, and then you don't play the rest because.
Because I started getting like weird feeds from Sonics, like at one point I was like, oh yeah, Sonic's a hedgehog and he goes fast and he goes around and through tunnels and he's versing a scientist. Okay, cool. By the way, we've just released that Sonic can now go Super Saiyan. I'm like, huh? What?
To be fair, that was actually from the first game.
You see, I
That's
didn't play the first game. So now I know that Sonic can go Super Saiyan or whatever you call it.
Yeah, although I love the movie.
Oh, I love that. That was
better.
The thing is,
better than expected.
It wasn't just a game about. It wasn't just a movie about a game. it's the same review I'm going to give Dynasty Warriors.
I still need to watch it.
It's
I still
a
need to watch it.
movie that knows its content is from a game, and it bends the rules like the game bends the rules.
It's just like the Detective Pikachu movie was also great.
That Jim Carrey, that was a very good casting. Honestly, like, I thought, okay, it's gonna be Ace Ventura again. Let's go, but it was that whole improvised dance he does when he's busy working on the on the quill was just brilliant. Yeah, and I was just like, what? This is great.
I think something I also loved about it, because like the whole time you're sort of watching it, you're like, well, he doesn't look like Robotnik, but also Robotnik doesn't really look like a person. But then at the end, when he's like trapped on that planet and he's grown out the huge mustache and stuff, and you're like, oh my god, they actually pulled it off. He looks
and you can see he's slowly losing his mind, making him more Robotnik, or as the Japanese call him, Eggman.
Yes.
So I think that movie stands out. You don't even need to know that Sonic is a game to actually watch and enjoy that movie. It was just surprisingly it's fucking fantastic. And the same I will say about Dynasty Warriors, except there's no way you can watch Dynasty Warriors without thinking that this thing must come from a game. Because like I said, it's got the three major wins for me when it comes to any Chinese made media or content. Obviously, first thing, it's got the wire effects. You know, the putting the people in the wire and having them fly across the screen. Always a win for me when you're trying to go for that kind of style. I'm not talking about like any Chinese movie. No, I'm talking about the style of the movie. The fighting silliness movie. It's got the wires, right? They stick that perfectly. And the wires work because in the game, you pull off some ridiculous moves that you wouldn't know a normal person would be able to. The second thing is, the CGI is bad and good at the same time. It's not like Mortal Kombat, where the CGI is trying to make itself look good and try to pass off as expert CGI. It's that CGI that you kind of like, it's a little bit more advanced, but it's still like along the lines of like Kung Fu Hustle and Kung Pao and I want to say when I get to the Shaolin Soccer, you know, it's that. Okay, I know Kung Pao doesn't actually stand well with it, so I'm gonna move that one on. Let's look at Kung Fu Hustler and Shaolin. Those two, the CGI is so it's so obviously fake, but it works. It works so well. So the CGI is really, for me, I'm not saying really good quality as in visually. I'm saying it's really good CGI because it fits the game and it fits the movie perfectly. And then finally they have the old school dubbing, which, by the way, is amazing. The American voice actors, I have to hand it to them because they really put in the same amount of effort as the back in the day dubbers. I'm not saying that the back in the day dubbers did crap work. I'm saying that it feels like that. It feels like you're watching one of those old school like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon kind of movies, but with the game twist to it. And I would be even more impressed, because I don't know a damn thing about Dynasty Warriors, is if they had to use the dubbing people that dubbed the game. If anybody can tell me, I'm not going to look it up because I'm lazy, but if anybody can tell me if they use the same dubbing actors for the movie that they use for the games, I would.
Well, actually, oh my god. I do actually, I know a little bit about, Dynasty Warriors isn't the kind of game that I like, because you're basically just fighting a bunch of like fodder enemies and then like a big one, and it's just kind of a bit boring to me. But Jim Sterling, who I like watch all the time and listen to their podcast, they love Dynasty Warriors. And I think that they actually gave up on dubbing a few years ago. They just leave it in Japanese now, because it's a very specific group of people that actually play those games. But it's just something good. Like, it honestly is a good movie. Also, like the intro. I'm not even going to make a spoiler here. The intro is two massive armies. Now, if you don't know
the Three Kingdoms war, the China's Three Kingdoms war. You know, if you honestly don't know it, that's okay. But you've got the Han, which is the Empire, and you've got the Red Turbans, which is like the bandit rebels, and they are currently fighting. The intro is a massive army battle. Like, you see the armies, you see them collide, and it's the kind of shit that Western movies leave for the end of a movie. Like, Narnia would leave that clash between the armies for the end. Like, Lord of the Rings would leave the clash at the end. But they give that amazing scene in the start, and they establish the three main characters, well, the four main characters technically. They establish the world, and they establish the how the war is going. And I think, honestly, even not knowing about the game, that movie is still a good watch. I still recommend people to go watch it. It is really it's awesome. If you like conflict stuff, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, I've been wanting to watch it for a while, so
don't watch
Mortal Kombat. Also today, Lucifer Season 6 is coming out. Just there's so many things to watch.
Just take a break, watch Dynasty Warriors. Please, you, Justin, watch Mortal Kombat. But anybody else, don't bother, please.
I will.
There's some parts in there that I just can't get. I need to get off my chest. There's this part where I've talked to you off screen about this, but they have this theme. They have the fucking. Let me just get this Mortal Kombat cast. Yeah. Cast playing the Sonya Blade, right? They and then you have this other character who plays Kano, right? They immediately establish that Sonya can take down Kano and is on par with these combatants. I forgot what they called them, these warriors or whatever, these chosen ones to defend the realm, right? They established that from the get-go that Sonya can handle her shit, right? Then the final climactic battle, I'm going to spoil it for you all because the movie doesn't do a good job at all. The final climactic battle, they do the most annoying thing, and they have Kano antagonize Sonya from the beginning. And at the end, Kano is fought by somebody else, and Sonya goes against the female villain. And I'm like, why? Why have somebody that's clearly you've proven the whole movie through to be on par with any other fighter there, and yet you do the stupid woman versus woman battle? And don't tell me equality. Don't tell me that shit. Because just before this woman and woman battle, fucking, what's his name? The one with the helmet, I think is Cole Young, maybe? I don't know. No, Cole Young's the main guy. Let me just get this. The dude with the hat. Not Rainer. There's a guy with the hat that he can turn into a sword. Right?
Yeah.
And he's obviously seen as this badass, strong guy, and they present him like such. He enters a battle with this harpy-like girl. I don't know any of their names, okay? He enters a battle with this harpy-like girl. She flies around screeching. The moment he comes into contact with her, he executes her brutally in the Mortal Kombat style. So there's a male character, right, dominating this female villain. And he ends it with the typical flawless victory. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So they really broke right there, just before this battle with Sonya and this other girl. They literally broke that it's not going to be a male versus male, female versus female. They're going to they're going to have the actual thing of these people fighting as warriors, not because of their gender, but because of their skill. And then they do the thing at the end where male versus male, female versus female. And I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Fuck you.
Yeah, no, I think in that sense it probably would have been better to, especially if it was sort of building up the whole Sonya Kano thing. So
it's frustrating. It is so frustrating. And like it was cool, you know, having Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, because that's the whole conflict of the movie. It was cool. I did like it. Like there's a lot of good aspects about the movie. It just felt like heavy corporate middling, you know? It felt like what the director had going, there's parts in it that you can see were old script, I would call it, and you can see parts with revised script. You know, you can see like old script is so good. Like there's parts in the movie I'm like, that is actually pretty cool. And then there's other parts in the movie where I'm like, oh my god, this feels like it's perfect for 2021. It is crap. I mean,
no, I still need to watch it, and I'll see what
I also find the most charismatic character is Kano. You know, the loudmouth Aussie. But he also has some of the most witty lines. But that's the only thing. The fucking one of the villains is the most charismatic character there, and he's funny. Like I laugh at his jokes. A lot of them are just insults, and I kind of pass that. But there are some that I can't help but spit the milk at. You know, because you sit there and you're just like scoffing, and then all of a sudden it's just eruption of laughter because you weren't expecting him to insult that person in that way. But when your shining charismatic character is just insulting people, that doesn't bode well for at least your dialogue in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I will get around to watching it sometime.
I want to hear your thoughts. The world wants to hear your thoughts.
Of course they do. So, shall we move on to the next story?
Yes, what's next on the list?
This one's actually interesting. So it isn't like this one isn't like a whole, see how terrible the abuse things are happening in the industry. Don't worry, that's the next story. This one, it was like a feature that was done by The Verge that pointed out something that I don't think anyone ever actually thought of before. What is it like to be QA on fitness games like Dance Dance Revolution?
Don't they just get
and
the QA people for that? Like, don't they get actual dances and stuff? Like, I know for that iToy game where they could teach you how to dance, they actually had proper dancers come in and do it and then test it. But I can imagine that those are the fittest QA people in the gaming industry.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Imagine you go up to the bar and there's this buff guy sitting there and they're like, oh, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a tester for Dance Dance Revolution.
We don't call it that. It's DDR.
I'm tired every day.
DDR.
DDR. But yeah, it's just kind of an interesting thought of being like, fuck, you're right. There have to be testers for sports games, for these fitness games. And fuck, it must be fucking exhausting.
Well, you say that, right? But a lot of the trend now with most indie devs is they request YouTubers that review games they give them free access or limited access to actually play their games and give feedback as a QA tester. And they do this because the person has proven that their opinion matters in the gaming industry, right? So those guys that used to rock up at the arcade and hog the system just dancing their heart out, if you might find that they were probably one of the first people to source. Now, obviously not around the world, but maybe with DDR first spawned, I'm guessing Japan, they maybe back then they went through to arcades, found people that were really fucking good at the game, and then the next iterations they asked them, what would you want better? And those guys became the QA testers. That to me seems like the most plausible way. You're not gonna get some guy that's fucking testing out some city to come now test out DDR,
I kind of do love the idea that someone, they come for their interview, like a suit, looking all very neat. Like, okay, so what am I going to be doing? Are you going to be dancing? And the guy's like, okay, yes, you're going to be dancing for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. And you're like, okay.
Think of the poor person that had to QA for Saber Beats. They had to stand there and they had to swing their arms around. It's the same thing. Those games are for active people, and you'll get active people to test them.
Yeah, but fucking tiring, I'm sure.
Oh, obviously.
So, yeah, that's just an interesting little thing. Sort of, the last two stories are just abuse things. the whole thing with Ubisoft. Nothing has changed with Ubisoft, and basically they didn't like respond to things, so that they basically claimed, oh no, we're going to fix everything's going to be fine. Like one of the new guys that got put in place is just like another, the exact same type of people. Yeah, basically. And there's like a pressure group, that's trying to get these devs to actually do things. Or like, no, they like don't like answer their calls. They refuse to like do anything. They refuse to actually start changing anything. So yeah, Ubisoft is still exactly the same as it's always been, despite them claiming otherwise. But we've already spoken about Ubisoft and Activision, so they're the big bad guys here. But the other one is Paradox, which has now come out. There was a survey done at Paradox, and 44% of the employees at Paradox stated that they had experienced mistreatment at the company. And 44% is quite a few people, especially seeing as Paradox is not a small company.
It's a game industry's Me Too movement. And I'm not saying that in a joking way. I think it needs to happen.
No, it's hectic. It does need to happen.
I'm glad that these people are coming out. I'm really glad.
Yeah. So it was basically they like said no, that it was like a culture of silence, of not coming forward and stuff. So not great.
Yeah, if you come forward, you're going to lose your job. There's people that they're going to replace
basically.
you with.
There was actually a small piece of news the other day that I think, because it was from, I think before our last one, but I forgot about it. It was just a small thing about good old Activision, because of course, remember, Activision is being sued by the state of California, and basically the state of California like went to them and they were like, you have to inform your employees that they will not face repercussions for coming to speak to us. and also there were maybe some situations where maybe Activision was shredding documents that would have been evidence. So that's not great. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing really else to say there, because we've spoken about Activision and Ubisoft and all these companies many times.
Yeah, I mean,
they're not great.
The fact is, we're speaking about them multiple times, and it's all negative news. Oh my word!
Yeah, no. Actually, this was a news thing that completely slipped under my radar, but I heard it on a podcast, and I was just like, oh fuck, I didn't even see that news. Activision is not putting their logo on the new Call of Duty game because they like realize how fucking toxic their image looks right now. So their logo is not on the cover.
What?
Which
it's fucking hilarious. I don't really... Honestly, I mean, you watch movies, right, or series, and you're like, how can this person be so stupid to make these mistakes? And then obviously the character realizes it, has an epiphany, and changes their life around. And now you're witnessing it in reality, in real life, and you're like, do you guys not watch movies? It
doesn't happen.
I mean, do you know how to fix this? It's in movies. You can fix this.
Well, I remember people pointed out the thing, because, COVID happens and people don't listen to the recommendations of doctors. And there were a bunch of people that I saw online being like, now we know, because there's always been that one criticism of Jurassic Park. Why would they reopen the park? And now we're like, fuck, now we know why they would reopen the park.
Because money.
Because of fucking course they will.
Because money. And if you don't reopen the park, people will just climb over the walls and go, I have a right to be here. Yeah. And then proceed to travel through the park. So, yeah.
But yeah, so fun times, usual abusive, lovely games industry. But we've spoken about that many times. Terrible. And I'm sure next time we'll speak about it again, and the time after that. It would be nice if there would be a week in which, I don't know, it was just nice shit, where it was I don't know, imagine news where it's I don't know, Activision pays all of its employees bonuses. You're like, oh, that's nice. But then you would immediately go, what are they hiding?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would think. I was like, okay, now we're going to find out somebody was burnt at a pyre.
It was a small incident. A small child got into the grill. It was a mistake.
And everybody thought that the results
our
were pretty
CEO
delicious. So that's good news.
Exactly. You see, it's fine. It's fine. Can you please stop drawing horns on Bobby Kotick's head? It's hurting his dating life, people.
Also, something to mention for those who listen to this podcast who missed the hidden news. Last week, Psychonauts 2 released. Yay!
Yeah, Psychonauts 2 released. I've heard pretty good things so far.
Two of my friends have bought it and are playing it. One insisted that I watch his Steam stream, and I was like, okay. And then I was like, this is a really pretty cool game. I want to play it now. Really want to play it. It's on my wish list.
Yeah, no, but I'm always like, oh, I really want to play that. 5 years later, it's on sale for 80% off.
This game is going to be free
it.
on Epic. I promise you. I got the feeling in my bones, in my giblets.
If that is, that would be great. Because actually, because I was saying earlier, the game, and I checked it out, the game that is free this week is Neo, which I've wanted to play for ages and ages and ages. It's like a Souls-like game.
I've got it already. I went on this morning and I grabbed it.
Yeah, no, me too. But I need to play that. Although now I'm there's so much shit that I have to play. I'll get around to it eventually.
You will. You'll definitely get around to it. And then there's also like other games have released. And you've been playing games for your video, so you haven't anything new that you've reviewed. Do you have anything to comment about one of the games that won't be included in your video? Anything that you thought doesn't fit the bill but you still find interesting?
No, I kind of selected them ahead of time, so I know exactly what they are.
Okay.
What I'm looking at.
And you haven't, like you said, you've been basically doing that. I, however, took a risk, and I played Aliens Fireteam Elite. Yes.
Oh, I haven't heard the greatest things.
How do you put it? Okay, first of all, I didn't have the best experience. I should have known that because for those who don't know, I'm a big Aliens fan. Only game I haven't played is Isolation because I'm a little bitch, but I've played anything I can get my hands on. I've played and I've enjoyed it to a degree. And when I got to Fireteam Elite, now here's my thing. I should have known from the beginning that it was going to be a game below my expectations, because when a game slaps on too many, what's the word? I'm busy talking to English buff and I can't remember the fucking word.
I'll forgive you.
An adjective, right? Because I probably got it wrong. I'm terrible. I almost failed English.
No, continue.
So when you got a game that calls it, you're like, let's look at, in my opinion, some of the great Aliens games. Alien vs Predator. I loved it.
Yeah.
Aliens vs Predator on Xbox was also pretty cool. Aliens Resurrection. Or was it Resurrection? I don't know. Was pretty cool. Alien Isolation, I will take everybody's word for it and say it's pretty fucking cool. Okay?
Yeah, it's terrifying. I played like an hour and shat myself and I didn't play anymore.
When you get to my Aliens vs Predator 2, that's top tier for me. That really is top tier for me. When you get to the arcade, I don't know what the name is of the arcade version, but there's an arcade railroad version.
Is it where you have a flamethrower? Is it a flamethrower?
No, it's you have multiple weapons, and to me that was always a shining star. But they all have very specific naming. Now, when you get a game that calls itself one thing and then still has to boost it, like Aliens Fireteam, cool. That sounds cool. I know what a fire team is. For anybody who doesn't know what a fire team is, it's normally a small squad that gets put in high risk situations, like planting a bomb, rescuing a hostage. They're not there to win the war. They're there to achieve an objective in a high risk situation. That to me is what I feel a fire team is meant for, right? Now that's cool. So I know that I'm gonna get an Aliens game where there's gonna be a place. There's gonna be a high risk situation where a small squad will be involved in. But when you put elite onto it, it cheapens the value of the title immediately. When you put, fire team awesome, fire team epic, fire team elite, fire team number one, fire team Eagle Squad go. Like when you start adding shit onto it after you've established what it is, I already know that the name is now compensating for something, because the fire team would generally be the elite forces that go in, right? And oh yes, I forgot to mention Aliens Clone Marines, my number one Aliens game. Fuck you all. And I'll say that playing fire team, it kind of feels like, Disney owns Fox owns Aliens, kind of just pushing out a title. Maybe I played it too early on, but it kind of feels like they just pushing out for the sake of having the license. I don't know if you know what I mean there.
That actually is a technique that's used to hold on to a license. So it's possible. Yeah. Maybe they just
because it does feel like, the game is still early on. I don't want to say that it's crap. Don't play it. Don't do this, because a lot of people are having fun with it, and it kind of feels like reskin Left 4 Dead. The aliens aren't like, you went from isolation where the alien is the most fucking feared thing in the universe, right? Even in Colonial Marines, they established that you can still lose going one-on-one with the alien, but because you're a trained elite marine, you can get through it. They do the same thing here with this fire team elite. You can get through it. But when you reduce aliens to cannon fodder in a way that it doesn't even feel satisfying killing them because they just keep on coming, it loses something. It's got lackluster to it, like I'm standing there. Okay, I chose a demolition, which is the heavy, so to speak, the guy with the smart gun, and I'm mowing down these aliens, and I don't feel like, haha, fuck you aliens. I felt from Colonial Marines. I kind of felt like you could put anything crawling on a wall for me, and it would feel the same. It doesn't. Yeah. It has all the feels and styles and stuff. It's a very beautiful looking game, obviously, and Unreal Engine and stuff like that. But it doesn't feel. It feels very generic. I think that's it doesn't feel special. First I played it by myself, and a friend of mine said maybe try playing it with people, maybe have a better experience, because he's heard from people on his end that that they've enjoyed it. It's a pretty cool game. It's a game where you just chill with your friends and you have fun. So I got two of my my best co-op buddies for these types of games, and we played it, and we all three of us realized the same thing. It's pretty generic. You've got aliens that lurk behind corners, like the hunter from Left 4 Dead, or the lurker from World War Z. You've got tough aliens, and then you got even tougher than tough aliens, and you got the swarm alien, the one that just keeps on coming and absorbing your bullets. You've got ammo caches at points where you're supposed to hold. You've got abilities like put down a turret, put down incendiary ammo. Turrets and incendiary ammo remind me of Colonial Marines again, and it doesn't feel like. First of all, the team dynamic, they do say things, but they don't talk to each other. The actual characters, because it's you. It's a standard player character, and they do have the random odd dialogue, but it's nothing that makes the experience feel good. The music's okay. Kind of like they copy pasted the music from Aliens, which I won't say the music is bad, but it just feels very generic. Everything about the game feels very we put it out because it felt like someone said, I want that game but for aliens, and they made that game for aliens. And I hope that the devs do, when they do the updates and they keep on releasing more of the game, I hope that it becomes better, because my experience was, I thought this was going to be amazing. The graphics, the different aliens, I thought I was going to feel that same but better feeling of if you had to take Colonial Marines and World War Z and put it together and have an absolute blast with it. But I didn't feel the pressure. And we played the game on Insane because the highest difficulty wasn't available because we had to play the campaign finish. And I get that. But the only thing keeping us playing the game was the difficulty level. And the moment we got used to the difficulty, the game became boring again. It became, here they come, aim in that direction, kill, jump around, dodge, reload, health, medipack, kill. Very generic gameplay for it. And I don't feel like the game maybe because I'm a fanboy, maybe I don't feel like the game deserves that kind of review. I think that they should, or they will. I'm hoping that they will do better. They'll add more content to it. But as it stands, it doesn't feel better. It doesn't feel that it feels like somebody just modded a pre-existing game to add alien skins and textures and scenarios in it. It is disappointing, but like I said, I have a bit of hope that as the game progresses, it will get to a better, more polished state and or have more immersion into it. Because anybody, like my friend said, it seems like a game for people to just chill and enjoy themselves, right? You can make any game like that with any theme to it. But you're taking aliens, a genre defined by the movies, by the simple saying, they can't hear you scream in space. That defines it all, and you slapping on a generic title to it. It's kind of like how I feel about the 4-player co-op that I also had a problem with that was coming out. I forgot what studio it was. I think it's Arcade. Yes, because I remember saying Dishonored. They had the Red something. You know, their 4-player vampire Red Dawn, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That I also didn't have high hopes for because it feels like a generic kind of like a fun experience that people can have in this environment. And I don't mind those kind of games. I just, when you have such a specific thing like aliens and you're trying to rope it into that kind of realm, I don't respect that. I think that the studio behind it could have made an amazing game, but they needed a flagship to run it on, and unfortunately, Aliens was chosen. People still enjoy the game, yes, but I don't think it was the right use of Aliens per se. Also, they made a very interesting choice. They have a 3-player co-op, not a 4-player co-op. So I don't know what's going on with that dynamic either. But the thing is, they have 3-player co-op, but 4 classes to choose from. So do you understand why I feel like it's a very weird design choice to have 3-player when you got 4 classes?
Well, hopefully it ends up improving.
Yeah, no. I'm honestly hoping that the devs not fix it, but they improve upon what they did. If it is just a sake for licensing sake, okay, fine. There's nothing I can say about that. But if it was just we got a cool game and we needed a well-known franchise to sell our game, then shame on you.
Yeah, well, it's possible, but
yeah, but that's my rant. That's the rant for you guys this time around. I know I do give a rant every time, so yeah, that's my rant.
Yeah, cool. Well, then I think that we're done for the day.
We are concluded.
We are concluded. So, do you have anything to plug?
No.
Good sir.
No. I'm plugless as always.
You're plugless as always.
I'm currently looking for a nice place to watch The Legend of Awesomeness Maximus.
Sounds like a plan. Nothing for mine is coming out in quite a while, but look at my YouTube channel, LC Lupus, and on Twitter at LC_Lupus, where you'll hear me talk shit about games, usually, and politics, because why not? And I think that's it.
Thank you all for tuning in to this, the 14th episode, right? The 14th episode.
I'll take your word for it.
4 more episodes and we're legal, buddy.
Oh, finally. This tension between us has been mounting.
I'm not talking about that legal.
Well then, everyone, have a splendiferous time.
And we will see you next time.
Hopefully.
This has been the...
Yes, and as always...
The 2 Cents Report with 1 Cent Tristan, joined by...
And 1 Cent Justinius, Awesomeness Maximus III.
And as always...
I love you.
Goodbye.
Ta-ta.